Hello and welcome to episode 56 of the Ski Instructor Podcast. My name's Dave Burrows. I'm the director and owner of SnowPro Ski School based here in Val d'Illier in Switzerland. I hope you are all doing well. It is a very hot and beautiful day here in Val d'Illier. It's something like 26 degrees outside at 1100 meters altitude. And I am here in the office catching up with some work. The kids are about to go back to school, which means I can get cracking on all of the other stuff that has been put off. So I'm sitting here, just cleared out my desk and a couple of other bits and pieces to do, but I thought I would just upload this excellent podcast that I have for you, which is going to be the long-awaited question and answer episode. You'll remember about a year and a half ago I asked people to email in questions if they had them, and you all did send in a bunch of questions. They then sat in my in tray for quite a while until I worked out what to do with them. A couple of you who sent in particularly specific questions, I spoke to you directly, which was really, really cool actually to listen to people and talk to people who had listened to the podcast before. I'm just amazed, as you know, that people do so. And from there, what I did is I waited for an opportunity because I wanted to do this episode with somebody else, so you didn't just get my perspective on it. So it just so happened in June I was doing a motorbike tour with Phil Brown. Phil, you've had on the podcast before. Phil Brown from Impulse Racing and the National School Snow Sports Association. And Phil and I were sitting out, looking out on Lake Como, having just visited the Moto Guzzi Museum. We just found ourselves a little apartment just looking out on the lake, and we sat out on the terrace and finally got round to answering these questions. So that's what this episode is, and I hope that these are constructive and useful answers. They're just our perspective. They're by no means the way to do things, but certainly the perspective that you get comes from two people that have been in the ski industry for quite a long time now. So without further ado, I'm going to leave you to it. I've got plenty of other work to be catching up with here on my desk. I present to you the Lake Como question and answer special, including me and Phil Brown. I will catch you on the next episode, which will be episode 57. Got a few cracking interviews lined up, and I really hope you enjoy these. But for now, enjoy the podcast, and I will speak to you all soon. Bye. So, I'm here with Phil Brown of Impulse Racing, National Schools Snow Sports Association, various other secret hats I can't tell you about right now. And this is going to be the episode, Phil, where I finally get round to all the questions that I asked people to send in, or various people have sent in. I'm a bit embarrassed because this first one was sent in on March 28th, 2022. So it's like a year old. And I've been saving them up in the hope that I'll finally get a moment to hang out with you, so that it's not just me answering the questions, because I don't really know everything. And it'd be nice to have another perspective on it. So here we are. So we'll just dive straight into it, shall we? These are blind, so I haven't read these for ages, and you don't know what they are.
Could throw up some interesting questions there.
Could be, but it's completely off the hat. And we should also mention that we are sitting here looking out on Lake Como. That's what the sort of the crashy wave sound is in the background. And every now and then there's a big boat goes past, so we'll probably pause it for that. And you might be able to hear some background people swimming in the lake. So we're on a bit of a motorbike tour, hence I've got you. Right, the first one comes from Alexander Karlborg, and I think I spoke to Alexander anyway, but we're going to read it out because other people will get this. So it says here, hello Dave, first of all, thanks for a great podcast, I'm a big fan. So I'm a 29-year-old Danish guy and I would like to become a ski teacher. I've done a couple of seasons in the mountain already This winter I'm in Val d'Isère working as a physiotherapist, which is his trained profession, and skiing as much as possible. I'm serious about wanting to make the move to be a ski instructor. It's not just a gap year thing. It's not easy to decide which system of education I should go for. Your episode with Andy Rose got me really keen on taking the Austrian way. With the 10 days Anwärter course, I can be working in an Austrian ski school already next winter. But there are tons of different systems, and I've also looked at BASI. As I can understand, the BASI 1 and 2 in the Anwärter are accepted for working with beginners and skiers in several countries, including Austria. Oh, here comes the wakeboard boat. Hang on. We're going to give that a chance to go by. It's quite a noisy one. Hold that thought. Oh, they did a trick. I think this adds a bit of colour. Oh, it's going to go right over there, look.
Then it comes back close.
Oh, which way is it going? He's going to go that way, look. Oh no. Oh. Good thing is I can just edit this out. I thought the cool thing to do these days was like the wake surfing. You know, where you have to...
Wakeboarding in the back of a boat is great.
Is it?
Have you ever tried it?
No.
I've only ever done it once, and it's such good fun.
Is it easy?
I found it a lot easier than I thought.
Alright. It's just sliding along.
Yeah. I had the choice of water skiing and wakeboarding, and I thought I don't want to water ski.
Yeah.
It's too different from skiing. I'll wakeboard, and actually,
Sideways on.
it was really good fun.
Okay. Alright, well, good. Right, where were we? As I understand, the BASI 1 and 2 and the Anwärter are accepted for working with beginner skiers in several countries. Where am I?
Including Austria.
Including Austria and Switzerland. The BASI 1 and 2 is a bit longer and more expensive, but do you think it's easier to get a job in Switzerland with BASI compared to the Anwärter? The most important thing for me is that I can start working in a ski school already next winter. I'm looking at going either to Austria and Switzerland. What would be your advice to a guy in my position? Side note about language, my school German is rusty, but I can catch up. My French is pretty much non-existent, fluent in English and of course Danish. Thanks for a great podcast, looking forward to the next episode. Bye, Alexander. A lot of questions.
It really depends. And that's very woolly, isn't it?
Let's look at the first thing first. Anwärter is like 10 days and you're in. BASI 1 and 2 is longer and complex. You've got to get the courses running in the right order. And
3 weeks, is it in total? Unless you do a gap?
Yeah, that'll be 3 weeks. Plus a gap or like a work train thing, right?
Yeah.
So it's not anywhere near as easy as doing the 10 days.
Well, it's not as quick.
No. I don't know about easy because I've never done the Anwärter.
I would suggest...
Oh, look, hang on, we've got some wakeboard boat waves coming in. Wait for those to go. What would you do if you're in his position? Surely, the to get working like quicker and easiest as possible is the Anwärter, right?
It is. I'm not 100% on what the language requirement is in the Anwärter and what it would be required in order to work. But if he's already got some German and he can get that back up to scratch, it's probably going to be his best bet.
Yeah, it gets you up and going, especially if your French is non-existent.
Yeah.
Because that kind of limits you to the Swiss-German part of Switzerland for future job opportunities. And they speak Swiss German, obviously, and not High German, which is a whole different language. No French means it rules out all of the Swiss French results, Verbier and all that stuff. So maybe the best option is to go down the Austrian route, get 10-day, then you're qualified, then you go straight to work in an Austrian ski school, right?
And then you can work through the rest of the Austrian system.
Yeah, especially
if you're working in Austria as well, your German is likely, provided you work on it, to get better.
And he's got an EU passport, no issues with work permits or anything like that. and speaks English and Danish. So you're quite a useful prospect to a ski school as well.
Depending on where he is and if it's got... Because there are some resorts I know that are big for certain clients. I know some for Belgian, some for the Dutch, and I'm assuming some for the Danish as well.
It must be, right? I don't know where the Danes go.
Verbier.
I thought it was all the Swedes.
There are a lot of Scandinavians in Verbier, in Non-Ban, all around that way. Right. Danish and Swedes.
Righto. So that is as much as we can offer in terms of like the timings. I think the issue with the Basie 1 and 2 is that you could get someone to employ you with the Basie 1 just about, right? But not. It will be quite low down on my list. The
insurance that comes with the qualification itself doesn't cover you to work in the mountains.
Right.
And the qualification is for the closed environment.
Yeah.
However, it is then up to whoever is employing you to cover your insurance and whether they accept that you are qualified.
Yeah. I've just taken on a guy with an inverter and a bunch of experience. And I kind of rate that. I would certainly take that over someone who's got only a Basie 1.
And the other thing is, the quicker you can get into the system, the quicker you can start building experience.
Yeah.
Because, let's be honest, Dave, when we look at anyone that we'd be looking to employ, the experience counts for a hell of a lot.
Yeah.
You know,
well, that's true. And below... So let's say someone writes to me with like a Basie 1 or an inverter or a Basie 2, I ask for video now. Yeah. So it's useful for people to have video of themselves skiing, the best video they can possibly get, and send that or expect to be asked for that, because level 3 and above takes care of itself. I wouldn't ask for video for those people.
No.
Right, because you've achieved a certain level, but certainly for anything less than that, I'm looking to see if you've got the right moves, you know. All right, happy with that one?
That's good.
All right, Alexander. Sorry, that's a year out of date, so I hope that you found something.
He's probably got a whole season's experience teaching under his belt.
Really good job by now.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Here we go. So this
started his own ski school in Verbier.
No, I feel really bad about this. Don't make it. Right. Here we go. This one is from Tim O'Brien. Tim O'Brien, thanks for writing to me. This was on May the 4th, 2022. Oh my God. Hi Dave, firstly can I say how much I love your podcasts. Even though I'm not a ski instructor, I've been listening ever since the start, and after each episode I'm left eagerly awaiting the announcement of the next guest on the show. I hope that you're still as excited after a year of podcasts that I've done. Hoping you get to speak with SIA, Ski Instructor Academy, on each other's podcasts at some point. You're right, I'm trying to set that up, Tim. If only to see if you can get a word in edgeways. Oh, here goes wakeboard man again. Should we let him do his loop?
Yep. No, he's doing a much shorter loop.
Is he? Go on, off you go. Looks like it would cost quite a lot to run one of those.
Yeah, I suspect it burns quite a bit of fuel.
Boat fuel is not cheap. Right. Okay. Secondly, the questions I do like to suggest for your upcoming Q&A would include: what do ski instructors do? Let's do these one at a time. What do ski instructors do in summer? Particularly, how do they survive financially and keep ski-relevant fitness levels up, especially as you age? A subject close to my heart. No doubt yours.
Are you trying to say I'm old, Dave?
We're both getting old, mate. Yeah. That's how it is. Right, so
what do you do in the summer?
Right.
The golden question.
Yeah, it is the golden question. Up to this summer, I have taught football. That's been my summer gig, and I gave that up in August last year. A few things coincided, and I decided that in fact, the ski school warrants literally all of my time now. I haven't got time to do anything else. I know, I'll give you the examples of the people on my team. So a couple of guys, they've got a guy who's a stonemason, got a guy who's a ski coach, got a guy who's working in Canada as a bike guide or something. A couple work at schools. There's Gabby's working some sort of rental thing this year somewhere. And so there's all sorts of things, but there's not that many good roles available for people that are only available for, say, 7 months a year. That's always the biggest thing about our industry, and it's something that bugs me about it, is because you can't, it's what forces people out of the industry, isn't it?
It can do, yes.
Yeah. So there's that. What about your summer? Because you're one of the rare people making a year-round living out of skiing.
I'm a little bit different. I mean,
You are certain.
my business it's a mix. There's some teaching in there. There's some coaching. My background's race coaching. We created the National School Snow Sports Association some years ago, and we have a year-round business with Alpine and UK stuff running during the winter, and then UK stuff and camps to Landgraf in the Netherlands during the summer. And we've become a bit of an events-based business on that side of things, which keeps us running all year. However, I came into full-time skiing relatively late, having been involved in racing early on and coaching early on, and then doing it alongside a more corporate career in pharmaceuticals for a number of years. When I took the plunge, as it were, after being made redundant from pharmaceuticals, I did multi-drop driving in the summer. Hard work. Tough work, but it filled the first 2 summers until we could get stuff running to actually give us a year-round income. And my wife did work for a company in the southwest, a posh drinks company, for a few years after that, until the business could support both of us. So you've got to be very fortunate to find something that can keep you going all year round. You've got to or have a big ski school that earns you lots of money, so you can sit on your piles of money during the summer sunning yourself.
There's only one person who's doing that.
Julian.
Yeah.
Or you have an alternative career. There are guys that work for me as coaches. I've got one that also stays on in the Alps and looks after apartments, turns them over through the summer for the summer season. There's guys that go out and do they teach surfing or windsurfing and stuff like that. Obviously that kind of thing is tougher now to do outside the UK for the guys with European passports. Without European passports, because they've got their 90 days, or they can get their working visa, but it's only for so long. So there's a whole plethora of different stuff, but I wish I had £1 for every time I'd been asked the question, what do you do in the summer? It's got to be the most asked question of a ski instructor or race coach.
It took me, so I moved out here in 2009, so it's taken me, what's that,
14 years?
Yeah, 14 years to make an annual living out of it. You know, having to do football and
building and making it work.
Second part of that question, what do you do to keep ski relevant? Well, you ski all year round, so it doesn't bother you,
I'm not doing a lot of skiing in the summer.
Right.
A lot of the stuff we do, I'll use other coaches, but I'll cycle. I walk a lot. I live in Aosta, so I go out walking. It doesn't take a lot to get the heart rate up, walking up just above where I live. Or I'll cycle. I don't run. If you see me running, check that I'm being chased by something.
Chased by a bit.
But yeah, apart from that, not a lot. Not a lot really.
So end of ski season, I give myself a month free of exercise completely to let my body recover a bit. Through the season, I play football every Tuesday, so I do that all year round. And then I go, after I've had that month off, I then go into a program of trying to do interval sprints. So I do kind of interval trainings, like variation of that. So it's kind of explosive, it's high intensity, and it lasts only 30 minutes, which is about as much time as I've got, before I get bored. I walk a fair bit, and otherwise I don't do anything. I ride motorbikes, and that does nothing for fitness.
No.
In the autumn, like this year, I did do a whole bunch of trials biking, and trials bikes don't have a seat, which was great for core quad strength, which is pretty cool. Right, question 2, or part 2 of the same question. Once qualified, how do you keep up with developments in the world of skiing and ski instruction? Do you do refresher courses with high-end specialist providers, watch videos of top skiers, or go off into other countries and associations into skis to see what they're doing?
All of the above.
Yeah?
To an extent. You mix with other instructors.
Yeah.
In my case, mix with other coaches, some working at the sharp end of the sport, which is a massive help. For your qualifications, you have to do X amount of days every 3 years. Now you can take a course.
Yeah.
Or you do some of the online CPD stuff for that. But there's nothing like working with other instructors or coaches to keep you sharp and keep you on your toes in terms of what you're looking at. You can become stale otherwise. Yeah,
that's true. Because you get your own sort of set ideas of how things should be done.
Yeah.
And I've stolen 3 or 4 ideas from Stefan, stuff I've seen that I just thought, that's genius. And then in the Swiss Snow Sports, you have to do a refresher every 2 years, which is, this year was just a bit of a ski about, but I did learn something out of that, so you get something. And there's never been more media available in skiing, so you can consume as much new ideas or old ideas or rehashes of ideas that have existed since the dawn of time as much as you want.
Bear in mind, there's also a lot of old tat on the internet.
There is a lot.
There's a lot of rubbish out there as well, so
there is.
Be a bit picky when you're looking at that, because
that's true.
Yeah, you can go down some very strange wormholes.
Yeah, you very much can. And then the last one, the only other one I'd say is it's also the reason that I started the podcast, actually, was because I couldn't find any high-end specialist training provider to do CPD stuff.
Yeah.
So hence I just started this, because I wanted to speak to people, knowledgeable people, and people like you.
Yeah.
And
I'm just a filler.
Just to make sure, like, I'm going down the right road, and also, just find out how other people are doing things and how other people are thinking about skiing. But I think the long story short is that everyone who is experienced and thinks roughly the same way about skiing. There's only so many ways you can skin a cat. And
the fundamentals remain the same, don't they? But
it's variations on that, really.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I'll add in there, what I find really interesting is I run race coach stuff for IASI, and I'm also a tutor for the Home Nations for the UK CP stuff, so all coaching. And actually, there's always something to be learned when you've got candidates coming through with a little bit of experience. No one knows it all, so it's really interesting hearing some of their viewpoints and some of their ideas. And a bit like you, Dave, I've appropriated some drills and exercises from some of the courses I've run.
No, for sure.
Because they work.
Yeah. No, the best coaches are the best thieves, aren't they? That's how it works. Point 3 from Tim's email. Why did you choose Switzerland as your base to base your business in?
Because you're a millionaire.
Yeah, right. When it's an increasingly expensive and therefore presumably shrinking market, are you considering a move to other markets? Did you see any signs it will get easier for you to employ non-resident British instructors in the future? Yeah. Looks like it's a question for me then.
Yeah.
That's fine. Switzerland. The reason I chose Switzerland to base my business is because I see... Or at the time when I had a choice, so I had a choice to continue on living in France and do the French thing. But I looked at French tourism and I saw it a bit as sort of a bit bucket and spade, like it was a bit sort of mass tourism. And then whenever I was working at the time in Switzerland and I was, you just see the shit, you've seen it, right, when you're over there, the sheer amount of money washing around in that country, my country. it's a bit of a no-brainer really to base yourself in one of the high-end places. You see the sheer amount of wealth that comes in there as tourism. It's like, it's not mass tourism, it's tourism, you know, done well. It's a safe country, it's a stable country. There's no chance that they'll change the rules. And for me it worked better because my wife is Swiss, kids Swiss, now I'm Swiss. Why wouldn't I base a ski school there? I wouldn't do it in France. And I don't think France is the golden goose that everyone seems to make it out to be anyway. I've never thought that.
It's well, it may have been at one time, but I don't think it has been for a while.
No. And there's also a lot of competition there. So I think the other thing is like setting up in a place where it's easy to do business and it's easy to compete. And that's one of the reasons I like it there too. You know, business is easy to do, and there's a market there that you can really go after, or there certainly was in my case. So I wouldn't say it's only increasingly expensive in relation to everything else.
Yeah.
Right? But if you're in Switzerland and you're earning Swiss francs, it's not increasingly expensive. And furthermore, the sheer amount of money that has been printed in the last 25 years, frankly, it's for a lot of people, it's not expensive. It's just not. The money floating around in the upper echelons of society these days is extraordinary. The numbers that are talked about by big corporate business.
Remember that there are
it's nuts.
A large number of international schools in a very easy catchment area from you, Dave, where there are a lot of expats from many countries based in Switzerland who are high earning and at the weekends in the winter come and have lessons. So I also there's a comment in there about the market shrinking, whether it's because of the expense, whether it's because of the climate change, etc. Up to the pandemic, it seemed to be growing year on year. And after the pandemic, the first year that everything was working, it was a bit pedestrian. This season, it was like an explosion.
Yeah, it's bananas, wasn't it?
It was crazy.
Yeah, we've had every year, even during COVID, record years.
Yeah.
So, you know, it hasn't, for me, has shown any signs of stopping. And also, when you look, I've been to Florence this summer. We've just been to Bellagio, haven't we? Been through there. There's people everywhere. Tourism is absolutely going bananas. It's like revenge tourism after COVID, right?
It is.
And so I don't agree that presumably the market is shrinking. I don't think it is, and I it might do if you're in a place where you've got like a weak currency, maybe, and you come to Switzerland, you're like, the prices are eye-watering. But if you live in Switzerland, you don't make that currency calculation. You don't notice it. You get used. It's weird. You get used to paying 25 francs for a pizza, you know, and you just don't even bat an eyelid, you know.
Till we come to Aosta.
And you're like, what? What? €1.20 for a coffee? What? Anyway, do I see any signs it will be easier to employ non-resident British ski instructors in the future? Yes, I think there is some sort of working group going on in the Valais government with a view and at a higher level than that.
I was going to say that's cantonal, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's cantonal, but I think it's gone. I think it's a state thing as well. Like, we're trying to get short-term work permits again for Brit instructors, and also there's other places now where they can work. Yes. So, you know, we talked about Aosta Valley and stuff like that as well before. So it's happening. It's just happening slowly. And Brexit, you know, love it or hate it, badly executed. Everyone on both sides of the coin can agree with that. And we just have to wait for all these agreements to come into place, right?
Yeah.
And they'll come into place in places like Switzerland, which is not actually in the EU, and places like autonomous regions like, you know, Aosta Valley, Trentino, I imagine, and some other places like that. So, anyway, Tim, thanks for your email. Sorry it took me so long to get to it. How are we doing for time? Because we have a dinner reservation. We're doing all right, 20 minutes. This one is from Colin. Colin says, Dave, ski question on behalf of my daughter, if I may. What qualifications training are available for a 17-year-old next season if she ultimately wants to be an instructor? Where should she start? Cheers. So
at 17, she can do a level 1, she can do her level 2 course, but until she's 18 she can't get a level 2 licence, so can't work in the mountains.
Yeah.
But it depends how close she is to her 18th birthday, and I would suggest getting them both done, so that, and all the ancillary parts, so your first aid, your child welfare module and everything like that, so that when you hit 18 you go, dear Basie, IAZ, Cassie, whoever, here's all my paperwork, can I have my licence, thank you very much.
Yeah. And then like you're ready to go, aren't you?
Yeah. And the choice, it doesn't say whether she's UK resident or...
Colin, I know, kids based in Switzerland.
Okay, so it's fairly open for her then if she's a Swiss resident to work in Switzerland.
Yeah. Here's a alternate thought, which I'm surprised I don't get more emails like this. I was ranting to you about this earlier on our walk back. No kids, teenagers, whatever, write to me and say, dear Dave, I'm very interested in getting into skiing. You got anything? You know, I've got a bit about me, and I would like to work as an apprentice or something like that.
Yeah.
If someone wrote to me with that letter and said, look, skiing's my life, I want to do it, I want to be an apprentice, I would be like, come to ski school, I'll teach you how it works. I might even sponsor you through your exams if you're really serious. But you can come to a ski school and you find someone like me, you know, who's keen to support young people, and what you do is you work for a bit or you shadow, and you know, we prep you, and you go, instead of doing like a gap course or something like that, you might, you know, you just work in a ski school environment, shadow a bunch of people, and then you go to your level 1 and 2 prepped, or your Swiss Snow Sports 1 or whatever, all prepped, right? I never get that letter. Never get it. No one ever writes to me about it.
It's strange, isn't it? I do get, and it's only since, as an organisation, we've run this school's level 1 course, an assistant instructor course. I now get people asking about the courses, but no one asking about actual work.
Can I hang around? Be a Saturday boy or
can I shadow?
Saturday girl?
Can I
or
do some shadowing? Can I learn? Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it?
Isn't it? I think so. I would have thought I'd get loads of those, and I would be totally open to someone coming and doing that. But
okay, I'm going back a few years now to when I first started, and I worked at a dry slope in Harlow, and we used to have kids from the race club used to come along and work as, we used to call them boot boy or boot girl.
Yeah.
They used to work helping kit out and sorting the equipment out, so that they would get some training and shadowed instructors and learn.
a few quid, right?
Yeah,
as well,
exactly.
Maybe. Yeah,
exactly. I don't think we see that.
I used to have a Saturday job in a bike shop, a pedal bike shop. You know, you learn a bit about dealing with the public and all that sort of stuff. I don't know, maybe these times have gone. I don't know what's what. We were bemoaning, weren't we, the loss of like the McDonald's server job, which is like, that's the job that you could start off a job, you know, a career with if you didn't have any qualifications. You get them, but that you've been replaced by a computer.
My first part-time job,
flipping bird
in McDonald's.
See,
when it opened in Harlow. Yeah,
still there.
I don't know if that one's still there.
So anyway, that is what that would be the approach that I might do.
Yeah.
Is to write to a ski school and ask to be a bit of a hang around for a season, and take my 1 and 2 at the end of the season. Say, but you could equally do the other way, get your qualifications.
Yeah.
But I figure you're going into it with like no knowledge whatsoever, so you don't even know if it's for you.
Yeah.
You know, you haven't picked up kids and white noses and you know, skip backwards for the whole weekend and that kind of thing. I don't know. But that's kind of how I would do it. I'd look for a friendly ski school and say, look, you know, I just want to be around. Most people would go, yeah, come and shadow some people, wouldn't they? You would.
Yeah, absolutely.
A young, keen person, well presented. Anyway, that's us ranting, isn't it? It's old man shouts at the moon. Oh, mate. Right, okay, we've got 2 more to go.
Cool.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. This one's from Dan Grimsey. I spoke to Dan, but we're going to read it out anyway.
From Australia?
From Australia.
Are you going to read it in an Australian accent?
No.
Okay.
Because I wouldn't do him justice. Because he was like Queenslander or something, proper, from the bush. Okay, podcast listener question. Aspiring mature age instructor. Hi Dave, during a recent podcast with Stuart Bernard, you spoke about how the ski industry regularly loses talent as instructors and ski professionals often end up making a decision to move away from the mountains to pursue other life commitments. I thought this discussion was particularly interesting as I find myself on the opposite side of that coin. A couple of months ago I made a decision, 33 years of age, to step away from the engineering career I've enjoyed for the best part of 15 years in order to enter the ski industry. Next month I'm heading to New Zealand to undertake level 1 and 2 cert during the winter with aspirations of then heading to the Northern Hemisphere for the following season. Until now, it would most likely be classified as your typical tourist skier with a love for skiing and an itch that I've mostly scratched with annual ski holidays to various parts of the world. My question is this: do you have any advice regarding courses, areas to focus on for a profession, or just in general for an aspiring instructor entering the industry that doesn't necessarily have the luxury of time that perhaps someone in their teens or early 20s might have? Thank you for your efforts in producing your podcast and the lengths you go to foster genuine and insightful conversations with some truly interesting guests, especially like Phil Brown. He didn't say the last one. Yours, Dan from Australia. Right.
My advice would be ski as much as you can with
skiers who are better than you.
Yeah. Go out, seek out skiers who are better than you. Go free skiing with them. Mm-hmm. Chat to them on the lifts. Just do as much as you can.
Yeah.
Yes, that does take time, but you can do that at any age. At 33, you're still more than young enough to really progress well if you put the time into the skiing.
Yeah.
There's no quick way to become a good skier.
No.
It's hours. But if you work and ski with some who are good, then that will be a big benefit and that will help you.
Yeah. It's good advice.
I mean, courses are much of a muchness.
They are. I was Dan, essentially. I came at 33. I did that. Skied people who were better than me. I skied as much as I could. I hustled through my exams. I didn't fail many until I got to the higher levels. But time is not on your side as a skier at 33.
No.
I say that now as a skier at
70
years old, 75 years old. 47, I think. Or 46, I can't remember. And already, back's given up, knees are ruined. And especially, I think, and I said this to Dan, especially if you have aspirations of going all the way to the top level of the sport.
Yeah.
You are behind the 8 ball already. You have no race background.
To do your speed tests.
To do your speed tests if they're in your system. Even to become, say, top level qualified. Because it's going to take you a while to get through, right? From age 33, level 1, 2, 3, 4.
To get to your ISIA.
You'll be 38, 39.
Yeah.
And that you end up the oldest guy on the course. You end up, maybe you having a couple of injuries on the way. You're struggling technically because of that. It's pretty negative, right? That's not guaranteed to happen, but it does happen. But actually speaking, when I spoke further to Dan about this, because I think he's an engineer in like mining or something. You're earning a fortune. One, you're going to miss the money, for sure.
Yeah.
Like you're going to earn nothing. And compared. But secondly, you've also got to work out whether this is actually for you. Because it's all well and good going doing your level 1 and level 2. You're at the bottom of the pile. You will be skiing backwards in the mini garden for the entire season. You ain't going to be ripping around the mountain.
Picking up kids.
You are going to be picking up, kids, skiing backwards. You have a bad back, sore back by the end of every day. Right, and you've got to then make an assessment, because he's going to New Zealand, right? It's a proper sausage machine. So you'll be doing 600 hours or whatever of mini garden, basic skiing. You've got to then come to the end of that first season and say, did I actually like that? Did I enjoy it? Because it might not be for you. The dream is often very different from
the reality. Yeah.
And also there is the thing that you're taking the thing that you love to do and you're turning it into work. And it doesn't always work, take it from me. So that's the flip side of that coin, for
very
sure.
true.
And it's important to go into it with your eyes open, I think. The other thing I did speak to Dan about is obviously if you have skills as like an engineer or something like that, there's plenty of other roles on the mountain that you could also do. He's also Australian.
Which may give you more skiing time.
It's more interesting, right? You could be an engineer, what do you call it, a lifty, not
lift
lifty,
engineer.
lift engineer, the guys who fix lifts and stuff. Like, you could do all sorts of stuff within, and also if you're from Australia, you have an Australian passport, so you're limited to Australia, probably Japan, maybe at a certain age, not sure. Australia, New Zealand, Canada, maybe North America. Right, all of those places are not places where you have independent ski schools on the mountain.
No, they're all
You're working for the corporation, right? So, and that is also a possible thing. Like my mate Ali, I don't know whether he's still there, but he's like director of skiing or something at Mammoth. Right? It's like a proper job. Comes with a salary and all sorts of stuff. Like it's real, like a real actual job. But still within skiing and still gets you out on the hill. So there's stuff like that around.
You kind of say that like our jobs aren't real jobs.
It's different, isn't it? It's different. It's not.
You're employed by a corporation for 12 months of the year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whereas what we're doing is us against the market.
Yeah.
So it's a very, very different environment. And one of the other things about that, I think I mentioned it on another podcast that's due to be edited, is that when you work for yourself, I think actually you have more security than you do working for a corporate. Corporate can fire you at any time, let you go, make you redundant, whatever.
Yeah.
Whereas if you work for yourself, it's more work, but you're in charge of your destiny. And if you work hard, you win.
It's not for everybody.
Certainly, no. It's for the 5%.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. So I would say, Dan, go into it with your eyes open. See what your first season brings. If you still like it at the end of season 1, go do a Northern Hemisphere season. If you still like it after that, get going. Ski with better people. Take as many exams as you are ready for.
Yeah.
Much as you can fit in. Other adage to this is, what's that thing that they say about ski instructors? You can work, you can party. What's the other one? Work, party, and something else. You can only do 2 out of the 3.
Yeah.
What's the third one? I can't remember.
I've got no idea.
No, I don't know it. Party and something. Doesn't matter, it's gone. I'll edit that.
At 33, you get into the end of being able to work and party.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. Right, last one. That one came in 2023, so we're catching up.
We're nearly there.
Nearly there. This one comes from William Ross in Montreal. This came in last month, so we're right on it now. Hi Dave, I want to convey a few thoughts on your latest podcast with Derek Tate re-Interski, recently held in Finland. First, I'd like to commend you on your podcast. I've been listening for several years. You have a very low-key, friendly, almost casual approach, and you certainly touch all the bases on the technical side, with usually a few other interesting real-life asides. I've actually only done this podcast, really, just to have all these lovely emails that say I'm wonderful. Great.
You've only selected the ones that say you're
all
wonderful.
the others.
The ones that say your podcast is a load of rubbish. You haven't selected those.
Yeah,
But
they're all in the
your
bin.
podcast is rubbish, but can I ask you a few questions?
Yeah.
You're going in the bin.
I only take positive feedback. William goes on to say, I agree with you wholeheartedly. Read the comments that you made to Derek on a lack of difference or variety among the skiers from the different nations. I thought the same myself after watching numerous YouTube videos of the various countries' skiers. My impression watching these skiers is that they appear, apart from the synchronization stuff, to be almost robotic in the similarity of their styles, all carving in almost exactly the same way, barreling down the groomed demo slope. I consider myself an old school skier with narrow legs and feet close together stance. You should see Phil. I took lessons at Stowe in the mid-70s. I guess it was the Arlberg approach back then with classic skiing and parallel technique. I have no intention of changing my style, even with my Volcal 165 Race Tiger slalom skis, which I thoroughly enjoy. What I've noticed, particularly on the last 5 years plus, watching on YouTube, is that the accepted current style of skiing on groomed pistes, obviously not in mobiles, powder quad, etc., is carving, crouched down low with legs fairly wide apart. I find this approach aesthetically not very pleasing, particularly when compared to old YouTube videos of two Norwegian-born skiers, Stein Eriksen and say that. What's that?
Tigve Berger.
Okay.
I think.
Well done. It's a pretty good Norwegian accent. Who is 90-ish and still skiing in Breck, which he co-founded. I'm fully aware of differences in the old skinny straight style skis, virtually no side cut, and the new shape skis with side cut rocker, etc. I guess, of course, everyone has their own unique approach to skiing, but I certainly subscribe to the views of both Eriksen and Berger, who stated that skiing for them is all about elegance and style. I'm reminded of the late John Fry's comments in his excellent book, The Story of Modern Skiing, when he says, Stein Eriksen's dazzling feet-together turn of 1955 appears to me as elegant as the carved feet-separated turn of 40 years later, perhaps more so. Just a few thoughts. Keep up the good work. Bill Ross from Montreal. You pick the bones out of that one.
This could send us down some interesting routes. The bottom line for me, doesn't matter as long as you're enjoying it.
Like it.
And as long as the fundamentals are there.
Yeah.
Now you can have your feet close together.
You can.
And still ski fundamentally well. You can have your feet apart and still ski fundamentally well. However, it's horses for courses in terms of terrain and conditions. Now, it kind of brings me on to a subject close to my heart and a bugbear of mine that I see a lot of with modern kit, that some instructors, some coaches, and I see it a lot more with kids, they learn to roll their feet and carve their skis. They have no ability to physically rotate and steer their skis. Because I learned on straight skis and we learned to turn our feet, and then we learned to start finding the edges. And that's the way I work with I've always worked with athletes, and how I work with clients, customers, whatever you want to call them. Now, coaches and instructors are able to skip some of that with their charges. And it's not a good thing to do. It's almost like putting the foundations on a house and sticking a roof on the foundations, not putting the walls in. You know, that's the way I liken it to that. So, yes, the steering, which is what the Stein Eriksen stuff's all about, is key to good skiers. If you watch some of the world's best skiers, as in the racers, the World Cup athletes, free skiing, and some of the drills they do, there is still a lot of rotation, and turning, and you know, creating maximal lateral rotational separation. So it's key. It's really important.
Well, not only that, right? Especially, sorry to interrupt your flow, but if you look at the way that they ski in the World Cup now, the sets are such, and the ski radius is such, they're stiveting quite a lot too, right? If you can't rotate your ski underneath you, you haven't got that skill in the locker, have you?
No.
You know, to be able to set an angle, a steering angle, and then turn it into a carved turn, it's quite an important skill.
It is an important skill, and I'm kind of with that. They both look, when done well, skiing looks good, regardless of if your feet are close together or further apart. Something I am not a fan of these days is the whole genre of Mr. A pro skier Instagram account putting up still photos where they're trying to get their hip on the ground.
Yeah.
I just think it's not real world skiing, and I think it's an ego trip for a lot of people. I mean, I'm not naming any names. There's some really good skiers in that group who can do it, and there are others in that group who can't, but they work so hard to achieve these pictures. It's just a little bit false, and I like to see good skiing regardless. You know, I come from a race background, so I'm most of the people I've worked with will be skis a little bit further apart, and they will be finding the edge, but they will also be able to steer. There's nothing wrong, and I've had clients who ski with their feet very close together and like steering as their main source of turning, or the main way of turning. And we work on other stuff with them, and we help them find the edges, but it's not their be all and end all for them.
No, I'm of that school actually. I prefer to steer my way around the mountain because I like the feeling of it and I like the elegance of it. So for me these days, we're at different ends of the spectrum, right? But I think skiing is a bit more aesthetic, and I think a lot of our clients like the idea of, like regular ski school clients, like the idea of looking good, as opposed to ripping around the mountain making calf turns. For sure. But we're just at two different ends of the spectrum.
But to be a highly effective skier, you need to have that whole package.
You need to know all the bits. No, that is true. I think something has been lost. This is my personal opinion. I think something has been lost in recent years with the pursuit of skiing as performance rather than aesthetic. When I look back at those days, I don't know if you've ever been in the Duke d'Oster Hotel in Aosta. On the stairwell, they've got some lovely old photos of like the Agnellis and all that sort of stuff up on the mountain, and they're just like dressed beautifully and everyone's skiing well, and like I think some of the glamour has gone out of skiing for sure, with that and with style. And I've said on a couple of previous, probably those podcasts would air before this one does, but I think inter-ski, everyone looking the same at inter-ski, which I think Bill is right on that, everyone did look pretty generic, is a consequence of the boots they were on and the skis they were on.
Everybody's generally, most of them were on a slalom type ski or a short turn ski, and a race boot. Yeah.
So you're only going to make certain shapes. The only variation that you're going to have in those shapes is with your body type.
Yeah.
Right. So.
I found when I went to Interski Bulgaria in 2019, and I did find there were some differences, certainly in the likes of the Korean Federation,
agree,
and stuff like that, and slightly different approaches. But yeah, as you say, when you look at the demo hill, there's a lot of very similar stuff going on.
Agree. And it's one of the reasons that I banged on too much in the last podcast about this, but it's one of the reasons that I really enjoyed a season where I mainly telemarked last season. One is because it was rotational turning, and the other one is more to do with elegance, style and personal expression.
Yeah.
And every time I put alpine boots back on now, I feel a little bit restricted in terms of ability to move.
That's your age and your back.
Yeah, well, that's also true. So you've got a sympathetic ear with me, Bill, definitely, and not so much for Phil because he can do it all. I've seen him ski. He's a beautiful, beautiful skier. I'm really jealous every time I see him ski. He skis really nicely. Okay, that is all of them.
Excellent.
Phil from Lake Como for the sun setting. I want to thank you for taking the time to answer those.
Excellent. Can we go get pizza now?
Let's go get pizza. All right, bye, listener.